person.
So have I.
What did he say? Okay.
Can we get both of them in the ring? Can we get both of them in the ring?
He said, I'm fighting Mikey. Then I might fight Sean Porter, Keith Thurman.
So he didn't mention Terrence, huh?
He didn't.
You mentioned Terrence Crawford? I just got to call him up and show him this.
He got his number.
Well, let me tell you.
I ain't got no options.
The smartest thing you can do is to stay away from Terrence. That's the smartest thing.
You're a legendary promoter. I like.
You see, Bob said that twice. Bob was right. He should have stayed his ass clear away from Terrence Bud Crawford. Shit, but he avoided as long as he could. But his pride, along with few options in the ring, left this man with no choice but to face what he feared. What not only he feared, but Derrick James feared and Al Heyman feared. Because Derrick James and Al Heyman and all those handlers knew that Bud was going to stop the hype train known as ExSpence that they created with clever matchmaking and even better marketing. I want to talk about this supposed 50-50 fight that all the media and the fans were talking about between ExSpence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, because that definitely wasn't a 50-50 fight.
40 guys. We 70-30 now. Boy, you gonna make me do 80-20. I'm an 80-20.
Yeah, Errol, you was right. That was not a 50-50 fight, brother. That was a 70-30. As you said, 80-20 a nigga. Because that's exactly what Crawford did to you. As a matter of fact, Crawford didn't 80-20 you. He 90-10 you in that ring, brother. He really just made you look basic, fundamentally unsound, and he whooped you all over the ring. Crawford didn't even have a scratch on him after that fight. You ran and avoided Terrence Crawford because you knew what was going to happen to you. You knew you were going to get knocked out. I mean, everybody saw you at the Sean Porter fight, and we've been looking at this energy that you've been displaying for the last 5 years.
Who watched that knockdown, put his hand to his face, and said, I'm out of here.
You saw Sean get knocked down 2 or 3 times. You saw his dad get up on that apron and throw the towel, and you walked your ass out of there. And I mean, you walked out of there with the quickness, and you hoped and prayed nobody asked you any questions about Terrence Crawford. What about after the Danny Garcia fight, when they asked you who did you want next? And you started talking about chickens and cows and going back to a ranch. And
You've beaten Kell Brook now, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia. Who do you want next?
Oh, I'm chilling on my ranch. I just bought a new ranch. I got a couple of horses. I'm getting some more horses, get some chickens, some more cows, and I'm gonna chill with my kids and my family and enjoy my time. And I got to decide when I'm gonna come back, and then hopefully be in the summertime. But right now, I'm just gonna enjoy my family time. I had a long 1.5 years, and I need to rest a little bit.
All right, well, enjoy.
Notice that Derrick James kind of scooted up to you almost like Secret Service and you were the president. I don't know what he whispered in your ear, but I'm sure he whispered, you better not mention Terrence Bud Crawford's name. And I noticed he stood right beside you and made sure you didn't say anything. Y'all notice that? Just look at Derrick James in the background looking like the Secret Service. Derrick James and all of the people at the PBC that handled ExSpence's career knew that this was a bad matchup. They knew that there was no way that ExSpence Jr. could beat Terrence Crawford. And people are upset at Derrick James. I mean, people are really upset at Derrick James, saying that he didn't give good instruction in the corner. And now you got all these quasi-trainers that saying that ExSpence didn't move his head, he didn't slip, he didn't bob and weave, he didn't catch and shoot, he didn't use angles. No, Derrick James should have been Trainer of the Year of 2022 because he gave ExSpence the best advice as a trainer, and he trained ExSpence because he told him, do not sign that contract with Terrence Bud Crawford. Al Heyman told him, do not sign this contract. Why are we going down this road? We've got this soft touch lined up for you, a PBC soft touch, Keith Thurman Jr. Why don't we go with One Time, who hadn't had one time in a long time? Why don't we go with him? And I'm gonna let the boxing fans in on a little secret. Well, I mean the casual fans. The hardcore boxing fans already saw this video and know that ExSpence has already been down for this soft matchmaking. He even said it when he was confronted by Terrence Crawford that he was into soft matchmaking.
Beginning, but a couple months ago he said, what he say? It's gonna happen end of 2019. Did he not say that? Did he not say that?
This is what I'm saying.
I read it all.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I read it all too. Terrence Crawford, wait
Wait till he get a belt.
Yeah.
He ain't did nothing in the welterweight division. When he get a belt, you want to go over there. Keith Thurman want to go over there, and now y'all want to say, "Oh, I ain't fought nobody, but I got a belt now." So
okay. Sean Porter got a belt too.
So now
Sean Porter got a belt too. Sean Porter. So why am I go to easy road and knock Sean Porter out?
Although he said he wanted to take the easy route and go with Sean Porter, and if you notice, Terrence Crawford kind of laughed and looked at him. And he actually said that to another male boxer that was in his same division with a belt. He said, "Why would I fight you when I can go the easy road and fight and he said not fight Sean Porter and knock out Sean Porter." Now that I don't know if that didn't resonate with the boxing fans, that was a weird statement for a boxer to say to another boxer in his weight division. I don't know if the pundits didn't hear that. I don't know if the coaches didn't hear that. So how could you have this as a 50-50 fight when the person that is part of the 50-50 fight is telling you basically that he doesn't want to fight the person in front of him that has a belt because another champion has a belt and he's an easy fight and I can just easily knock him out. Why am I going to fight you when I can easily knock this other guy out? And I want y'all to peep the cat. Maybe he's from Dallas. I don't know where he's from, but he's standing behind Errol Spence. So I'm assuming this brother's from Dallas. Did you see the look on this brother's face? I put a still so you can see the look on this brother's face when Errol says that. He looks at Errol like, "You bitchness, you punk. You actually said that to another man." And I'm sorry, when that statement was said, to me, it never was a 50-50 fight. Never was a 50-50 fight. Terrence was in that man's head from Jump Street. He was living rent-free in Errol Spence Jr.'s head from that moment on. And if he was riding with Bro back there, I'm sure he had to catch an Uber back to the hotel because Bro was like, "Man, you ain't riding with me. You actually said that to another grown-ass man." Look at that dude's face. As you just heard, Earl said that he wanted to take the easy road. He didn't want no roads with no potholes or nothing to derail that hype train he had going on over there at PBC. Now you'll hear his trainer right here, Derek James. He's gonna say something completely different over on Fight Hype about what Earl wanted to do on one side of the street, and then he gonna go to the other side and get Terrence Crawford.
But Derek, a lot has been said. The winner of this fight going into a fight with Terrence Crawford. Like, have you gotten an indication from Errol that is the next fight, that he wants that to be the next fight?
Well, I mean, I won't say, well, we had personal conversation. What I'll say is that he said this 4 or 5 years ago. He said that I'm going to clean out my side of the street, and then we'll do whatever, right? So he's never stopped, and he's been saying he wants to be undisputed champion of the world, so that means what's next?
A lot of fans are like, we don't...
Man, you can't listen, man. Yeah. That's trash. And you listen, I had to calm down. You better piss me off. I'm gonna tell you why. Yeah. If he said that's what he wanted 4 or 5 years ago, he's doing what he said he was going to do. Yeah. It's not about you. Think about this. Errol Spence fights Terrence Crawford for the unified championship of the world. How the hell does that sound? Wait. No, listen. Oh, but they have to get one more belt
to be undisputed.
Did you see what Derek James did to that? You see what he did, right? The interview was about to question his logic behind saying, well, why don't we get all the belts and then go get Terrence Crawford belt? He was going to say unified is unified. You still could have went and got Ugas's belt. But you see, Derek James didn't want him to question that logic. Derek James wanted him to use the PBC logic because they never, ever wanted to get in the ring with Terrence Crawford. Now, do you see all these contradictions that you're getting with Derek James, the contradiction that you're getting with Errol Spence Jr.? Now, Errol Spence in April of 2022, all of a sudden he beats Yordenis Ugas for the last of the belts that are on the PBC side. This was for the WBA Super Belt in April of 2022. And now all of a sudden he wants to call out Terrence Crawford. Now, mind you, this has been 4 years in the making. As you'll recall, I played a video earlier 4 years before that where Errol Spence told you that he wanted to go the easy road and knock out Sean Porter. He never once told Terrence Crawford to his face that, hey, I'm going to get all these belts on one side. I'm going to get the WBC, the WBA. I already have the IBF, and then we can fight. Because he knows that doesn't make any sense. Derek James knows that doesn't make any sense. You fight for the belts when the opportunity is there to fight for the belts, because you can never tell what's going to happen tomorrow. You could get into a car accident, which is actually what happened to Spence, or something else could happen. You could lose the fight, or a host of other things could happen. But anyway, let's see what he has to say to Jim Gray after the fight with Dennis.
What's next?
Oh, well, everybody know who I want next. I want Terrence Crawford next.
You're going to make that happen?
Huh?
You're going to make that happen?
Oh, definitely. That's the fight that I want. That's the fight everybody else want. Like I said, I'm going to get these straps and I'm going to go over there and take his shit too.
All right. Errol, congratulations. Terrific fight this evening.
Thank you. Man down. Strap season. I know what time it is, baby. Terrence.
Well, we see those comments didn't age very well. So far, the only consistencies in Errol Spence is inconsistencies. The first story was Terrence Crawford get a belt. The second story was, why don't I just go down Easy Street and knock out Sean Porter? The third story was, well, you're on the wrong side of the street and we don't fight people on that side of the street. And the fourth story was that, hey, I'm going to get all the belts on my side, collect all the belts on my side, and then I'm going to come to your side and take your shit. Now, does that make any sense for a person that has a trash resume, never fought anybody, and you're going to beat easily? So Spence, to all you people who listen to that bullshit, became an ExSpence because you were foolish enough to bet your hard-earned money on this man, listening to all these different stories that he told over the years, and you also listened to the media tell you that this was a 50-50 fight, when the eye test alone can tell you that this is not a 50-50 fight. And even with all these inconsistencies, if I were going to bet on Spence, if I just didn't listen to anything that he said, or anything that Derek James said, or anything that the PBC said over the last 4 or 5 years, the final press conference would have let me know right then and there not to bet on Spence. Would have let me know right then that Spence, if I put my money up on him, would have been an ExSpence.
You told me even as an amateur, you had one goal, you had one dream, and that is to make history and be the first undisputed welterweight champion of the world, especially in this era. Floyd, Manny, neither one of those great fighters never accomplished it. You accomplished that and get a victory Saturday. What does this say about Errol Spence Jr.?
Well, I don't remember telling you that because my goal was to get some money, especially when I was in the amateurs.
Now Errol Spence is moving the goalpost again. He doesn't want to win the undisputed welterweight championship. Errol Spence wants to make a lot of money. You heard it there yourself. He was coming to get Terrence Crawford shit back when he was talking to Jim Gray, but now all of a sudden, when he's talking to Brian Custer at the final press conference a couple of days before the actual match, now he wants to make a lot of money. So this goes to show you his mind state even before the fight. He didn't believe he could beat Terrence Crawford. Matter of fact, he knew he couldn't beat Terrence Crawford. So he's already setting you up to let you know that, hey, this is about me getting some money out of this fight. Because I know I'm not going to win. I know I'm not going to beat Terrence Crawford. But at least I can get paid out of it. And that's the whole mentality of the PBC. That's what they do. Al Heyman has a bunch of smoke and mirrors and people that really don't care about boxing. They care about a paycheck. And that's quite evident by what he said on the final press conference. Not I want to make history. Not I want to beat Terrence Crawford. Not I want to become the first person to do this. He says, I didn't tell you that. I told you that I want to make a lot of money. Just a stupid answer. See, with the PBC, it's not about history or legacy. It's about money. And all this attitude stems from that Floyd Mayweather era under the PBC, where it's all about money. But they don't realize that Floyd had legacy defining fights as Pretty Boy Floyd and even as Money Mayweather. You have to do the work before you think that the money is just going to come. But because these guys really don't have a hard work ethic, they were alcoholics, they were hard partiers, the PBC is going downhill, and it's going downhill quickly. And Errol Spence and Stephen Fulton and all these guys, they were steering the ship. I mean, other ones as well as Deontay Wilder, and there were other ones there. But at the end of the day, I did not want to come here and give you an X's and O's breakdown of the fight, of what Terrence did, what Errol should have done. I wanted to let you know the mentality of Errol going into the fight. I wanted to let you know the buildup and the mentality of Errol over the last so many years, to let you know that really the X's and O's did play a big portion of this, because Terrence is a lot more gifted physically than Errol. But at the end of the day, he was deep inside of Errol's mind. So I don't know if the gifts really made that much of a difference, because Errol fought so poorly because he was in Errol's mind well before the gifts even had an opportunity to even be shown. Because you think about it, Terrence has fought other people that, to me, supposedly are less talented than Errol, supposedly, and they put up a much, much better fight than Errol did. So I know it did come down to the X's and the O's and the game plan of the coaches, but it also came down to the mentality of the fighter. Errol put this fight off because Errol never wanted it. Errol's team put this fight off because they never really wanted it. And if they could have got away with not doing it, they would have. So it just amazes me that all those people listened to the media and put their hard-earned money on Errol Spence and became an expense to their household. But anyway, hey, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And, tell me what you think. Tell me that, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it did come down to other things. Maybe it was just an X's and O's battle, and Spence wasn't. Spence did want to fight the whole time, and maybe to you it did make sense the way he moved, over the last so many years. Just to me, it never made any sense. But I will add this note: Spence, to his credit, he fought. He did the best he could, but the problem is the preparation, the time away from the gym, where when the lights aren't on and you really have to work hard to beat a person like Terrence. That time wasn't ever put in, the time of the game plan and all of those things. But as far as his heart, he fought well. And I don't know if that was because he wanted to take a beating like that, or, Deontay Wilder has this whole PBC thing. Maybe he has all the PBC guys with all this pride, so much pride that they just willing to take a beating. Or maybe he just felt for the general public, his fans, that he wanted to go out on his shield. I don't know if that was the right move. Only time will tell if that was the right thing for him to do, because it'll show up in his in his subsequent fights if he took too much of a beating. But at the end of the day, he fought valiantly. I will give him that. He didn't go down. He didn't go in there and lay down for Terrence Crawford. He actually fought. He just didn't have the mentality over the last few years of a complete warrior. He didn't. He was out busy doing other things in his life, and it just resulted in, by the time you got to Terrence Crawford, just wasn't a lot of you left. Car wrecks because of drunk driving, detached retinas, and then you still continue to abuse alcohol, well after the wreck, by your own admission. So, hey, it is what it is. Terrence Crawford is the new welterweight undisputed champion in the 4-belt era, and he was presented with the Ring magazine. You know what? He's excellent. He's excellent in boxing right now. He is the number 1 pound for pound fighter. I do give Inouye his credit. He's number 2, very close to, or some people can have him 1. I wouldn't argue one way or the other. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and share. I appreciate you guys stopping by.
Happy holidays. Merry New Year. Y'all have a great day. It's a great feeling to be back.